Hello, friends. This is Tanya, and today I get to give you a sneak peek from the Trinity Stamps Sending Smooches release, which goes live on January 27th. Today, I'm playing with the Best Place to Be stamps and a bunch of other Trinity Stamps products. I do want to just show you the coloring from one of the images. I am using two of the images from this stamp set, which is very spring oriented. I think you are going to love this stamp set. I'm doing some very soft coloring here with my Copic markers. I just took some very light colored reds and pinks to color in these blossoms. I wanted them to be mostly white looking. So I kept it very light. I'm using a YR, oh gosh, it's so yeah, so pale. It's probably a YR21, I think. I could be wrong. It's one of the very light yellow greens, and this is a just slightly darker. I'm going for a very spring look to these this branch of flowers and leaves. This took me about 5 minutes to color, and I do use two of these. And this particular stamp set also has coordinating dies that will cut out this branch of flowers. I don't have, well, I will by the time this video goes live. I did not have the dies when I made this card, so I did fussy cut this branch, and because I got a little carried away. It is more fussy cut than the die will do, but the die will make things much easier. So I am making a mini slimline card with this, and I'm using the mini slimline card and envelope dies. And I'm also using the envelope builder, slimline envelope builder dies, the words from that. So we've got a hello outline and a hello the actual word, and I'm using some pearlized cardstock and some vellum to cut those layers out. I also had taken the scalloped panel from the mini slimline card and envelope die set and cut that from a white pearly paper to create the background, and then I cut the stitched layer that laid on top of that other one, and you're going to see what I'm going to do with that. I did use my precision glue to add glue to the back of that hello, to glue that to the vellum, and a reverse tweezers is super handy. I had also cut the finer detail hello from some coaster blank, which if you've been watching me for very long, you know that that is my go-to for getting dimension. You could also do this with a layer or two of cardstock. And for future reference for myself, I will definitely put the glue on the chipboard or on the coaster blank because it's a little easier to line up on the vellum. It just sticks a little faster on the vellum. And I like to use the tip of my reverse tweezers to help me get things pushed into the right spot. Now I'm going to take some yellow hybrid ink, and I'm going to add some soft yellow background to this stitched panel that I cut from using the mini slimline carded envelope dies. And I'm just adding this very lightly. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not pushing very hard. I want to build that color up slowly so that it's a nice blend. And then I also am going to layer this little bird and branch. The bird is in that stamp set also. I just keep checking the layers as I go along because my design process works that way. So I am using a Sentiment for Almost Every Occasion stamp set for this sentiment. And I am going to use some black cardstock. I did treat it with an anti-static powder bag and brushed off the excess. And I'm using some Versamark ink because I want to white heat emboss this on this cardstock. And I'm just going to sprinkle that embossing powder onto the stamped image. Make sure I don't have any stray flecks, and heat emboss this quickly. I think I had to brush some off with my thumb. I love how heat embossing just kicks up every single project whenever you make it. This is the mini slimline card and envelope die set. There's a whole lot in that set, including these cute little banners that work with so many of the sentiments that are included in the Trinity stamp sets, including all of the stamps in that sentiment for almost every occasion, which is a really awesome set of sentiments. I'm going to use my precision glue here, and I'm going to glue that first layer, that shimmery scalloped and stitched layer, right to the card base, which is a 6x6 piece of cardstock scored at 3 inches and folded in half. And then I'm going to take the second layer and I'm going to add some spatters because we need some spatters. It just wasn't quite enough for me. So I took some gold, I think this is gold glimmer ink, and some white. Pixie dust would be amazing. I don't have any yet, but it's on my wish list. I'm going to spatter that on with just a paintbrush a watercolor brush from my stash. And then I'm going to heat set that, and don't worry about the warping. I'm going to fix that with a little bit of coaster blank here. Cut that down to slightly smaller than the panel. Gluing that to the back of this panel. Just need a little bit of dimension on this card. I have to have a little dimension. Gonna glue that through the stitched and scalloped panel. And then I'm going to use my MISTI to hold that down a little bit. I'm going to take some scraps of coaster blank and use that to pop up the flowers just a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit behind each of the flowers, and I'll glue that to the front of the card also. I am really loving how this card turned out, and I'm really kind of digging this whole mini slimline card size. I think this is going to be a new favorite of mine. Then we're going to just tuck that little bird in between the blossoms on the branch, and I do need just another little piece of coaster blank to add a little depth or a little height to that bird so he matches the rest, and we'll just tack him in there. Now I need to figure out exactly where I want the sentiment. Yep, that looks about right, centered towards the bottom. I did debate about putting a black banner on there. It does work well, especially since the image was stamped with black. Also going to add the hello right overlapping the very top edge of that sentiment banner. And the precision glue makes this a breeze to get attached to the card. Now, if you overshoot with your glue, you can use the tip of your scissor or a pointy tool to pick that up before it dries to help prevent any glue from showing. I'm using my pokey tool here to make sure the blossom is overhanging the hello die cut. There we go. Thank you for stopping by today. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. Questions and comments are always welcome. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe by clicking that red subscribe button below this video, and check out the video description below for links to the products used in today's video, and for all the places you can find Trinity Stamps on social media. Until next time, happy crafting!